First, we would like to thank everyone who took part in our annual Customer Appreciation Week. We'd like to especially thank the hundreds of brand new customers who use WagerTalk.com for the very first time. Our regulars already know we offer $9 Mondays and have a featured handicapper for $2 Tuesdays. We're going one step further. For the final 2 Thursdays in February, every single daily package will be half priced on Thursday, February 18th and Thursday, February 25th using coupon code THANKS50. There is no limit to the number of usages or the number of cappers you can purchase, and the same code THANKS50 will work for both Thursdays. Just another way for us to thank you for your patronage.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, everybody. I am freezing. Oh my God, it's so cold in Toronto, Teddy. I'm normally in a t-shirt, man. I'm wearing what I call a swacket, a sweater jacket. It's so cold. How you doing, buddy?
I thought you were just talking about your hockey plays.
Yeah, 0-3 last night. Teddy, it slayed me, man. Like, I don't, this ain't going to make your bad beat because you probably didn't pay attention because you're not a hockey guy, but 4-4 in the Montreal Canadiens game. I've lost 2 games this year under 2 seconds. Montreal scored the 5th goal with 2 seconds on the clock to give me a 5-4 win. The refs reversed the call, and it was a horrific reversal. And the thing is, it's not even me who, I've got skin in the game, and I'm like, yeah, it's a goal, it's a goal. I tend to listen to the announcers. These guys have no skin in the game, and they were absolutely shocked that it was overturned. And then I lost another game in overtime. But yes, freezing, Teddy. What can I tell you, man? But I'm not freezing in my 5% plays. Those are 45 and 25 since December 2019, and I won my last one on Monday night. I got another tonight, Teddy. I got a 5% play in hockey. Promo code for all of you guys, Prez 5%. Prez 5%. You get $15 off of my 5% NHL play tonight. So thanks for that segue, Teddy.
Hey, no problem. Because when you say you're freezing, I have to assume it's your plays.
No, dude, it is so cold. Oh God, the month of February in the north, just brutal. Great show today, dude. Kelly Stewart, right off the top. She's awesome. So excited to hear her thoughts. We're going to talk a couple of NBA games. We're going to talk the Lakers and Jazz, which is just a juicy game, and the Raptors versus the Heat, which also has a lot of appeal to it. And then we're going to find out from Kelly why she doesn't want to bet college basketball until the tournament starts. And then, of course, Art DiCesare, your B6 big game breakdown. Who you doing in the big game breakdown?
We're going to talk North Carolina and Marquette, a random intersectional game for mid-February that I think has a couple of interesting points to discuss.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I got the penalty box segment, couple of NHL games to give out. Went 1-on-1 yesterday, 3-1 on the week. No, 4-1 on the week in the penalty box segment. So feeling good. Let's get straight to it, dude. I hope I don't make an appearance in your B6. We'll find out in 5 seconds.
Sure. Exactly. Let's do a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened in the betting world last night. And oh boy, there were some shenanigans with NBA totals last night. At Steve Loves to Bet. Steve tweeted me, I'm not sure what you classify this as, but I had the Warriors over 218, moved to 220. Game looked dead nuts over most of the way. Needs 40 points in the fourth quarter, hit the over, and they score about 10 points halfway through. And all of a sudden, it looks like a bad beat. Yeah, it kind of was. The Warriors-Knicks, it was 220 at most books to open. There were a couple of global books that opened early. The 218 was real that he was able to get. But let's call it 220 at the open, 225 and a half at the close. And it's, again, dead nuts over for 3 quarters. And the scoring just dies in the fourth. 13 combined points over the first 8 minutes of the fourth. Now the over's dead. It's 97-95. It's 105-102 with a minute to play. You're still dead. In the final 20 seconds, a made three, a technical foul, and then a couple of made free throws ends up landing 220. Wild finish there. I don't know if that's a bad beat or not, but it's a bizarre finish. Just like Kings Nets, where the total bounced 241.5, 242, 242.5 all day. David Sharp sent this to me. He's like, this wasn't a bad beat either, even though it went over on the last shot. The under was the wrong side the whole way until the end. Yeah, but Darren Fox, not one, but two made shots in the final minute of a blowout, including the three that sent it over on the Kings' very last possession of the game. That shot misses. The game stays under or pushes. Instead, Fox hit the three, goes over the total. That was a tough beat for under bettors. Tough beat for Nugget backers last night, no question. Lillard hits a three. Melo hits a three, both in the final 11 seconds. Blazers +6 works out in my favor. They lost by only 5. And, of course, in college hoops, Kansas, Texas, the total 139. 66-64 with over 3 minutes to play. The under's dead. 66-64 with a minute to play. All of a sudden, the under's live. 66-66 going into OT. The under's dead. Once again, tough beat in that one. Couple of bad bets last night. Trae Young got snubbed. Rajon Rondo's back. Lloyd Pierce is back coaching Atlanta, bet up from -7 to -8 at Cleveland. Meanwhile, the Caps snapped their 10-game losing streak with a straight-up win over Atlanta. All the Hawks money was wrong. Orlando, -2.5, bet up as high as -5. Short turnaround revenge spot for Detroit. I was surprised by that line move. The Pistons have already replaced Delon Wright at the point. Saban Lee's look good. Dennis Smith Jr. looked okay last night. Bad bet, all that Orlando money. NBA knee-jerk money. No Porzingis means money's going to come for Boston. Celtics bet from -1 to -2.5. The Mavs tried to blow a late 11-point lead, but Luka wouldn't let them hit the game winner. All that Boston money, not good for the house. There's more in the NBA. Lots of bad bets last night. The bettors love the spot for the Kings. Sacto, +7 down to +5.5. And the Kings actually had the lead cut to 1 in the fourth quarter, but a 14-1 Brooklyn run ended those dreams in a hurry. Sacramento, a bad bet. Minnesota, +11.5 down to +10. The new coach bounce for the T-Wolves. No, they lost by 27. That was a bad bet for Minnesota. A couple of bad for books in college hoops. Miami O, -2.5 to -6. Wild line moves in the MAC of late. -6 at Central Michigan. The Red Hawks won that game by 42. That was a right side for the bettors, a wrong side for the house. And the Florida Gators, +1 at the open, -2 at the closeout Auburn. The Gators, too, a right side winner. They won by 17. That another bad result for the books. There you have it, Prez. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, my friend. Prez is muted, and he can't hear.
I'm muted. I'm not muted anymore. Wouldn't it be great to walk around with a mute the Prez button, though?
I dream of such a device.
Yeah. In the background, yes, mute the Prez button. Well, I think we could make some money with that, brother. Teddy, Luka, highlight of the night as far as just a pure individual effort. You know, it was amazing because it wasn't the last shot to ice the game was spectacular. 5-6 feet away from the 3-point line. Just unbelievable. But the one before that was just incredible because he just wasn't going to pass the ball. He was dribbling around. They were locked down defense on him too. And he was like, the rest of you Utah Jazz guys, head to the bench. I'm going to do this one alone. Ran around for 21 seconds, couldn't find any space, hit the three-pointer at right at the end.
I don't understand why the Jazz would go to the bench when the Jazz weren't in the game and Luka doesn't have any Jazz teammates.
Okay, I meant the Mavs. Screw you, man. I'm freezing.
Screw me.
Yeah, Teddy. It's your fault I said the wrong name. Namaste. Let's bring Kelly Stewart in. Everybody, Kelly Stewart, let's go. Let's hit that like button. Kel, I said the wrong name, and all I do is get slack from this guy.
You know,
man.
that's what's
Okay,
funny.
fine.
Yesterday, Ruby was over here using my studio to do WagerTalk Today for the first time. And I said, be careful of Teddy. He will correct you. Just keep it moving. Prez gets corrected all the time. So do I. Just let it go.
Yep.
Prez, I'm with you. I actually hired a broadcast coach yesterday to help me with some of my blunders since I have no formal training, obviously. I have a business degree and I love math and sports betting. So it's pretty funny to hear somebody else blunder like that. I'm sitting there like, Mavs, like off the screen. You meant Mavs, Prez.
Look, Kelly, I give out picks to clients for a living. If I'm going to be wrong, let it be on naming a team on WagerTalk Today, okay? I mean, really.
Well, you better not be wrong on your
deal.
5% play because I heard you talking about it. So I went to WagerTalk.com. I saw Carmine has a 5% in soccer. You have a 5%. Yep. So we're going to see if Kelly can have a good day. If the 5% are wrong, I'm going to text both of you and make some anti-Canadian jokes.
Well, go ahead. The great thing is Carmen and I are going to be watching that game together. As of 2 days ago, parts of Ontario are not in lockdown anymore. We are driving 40 minutes tonight to meet one of the best WagerTalk customers in the world for a steak dinner. So we'll be together when you text us, Kelly, but you're going to text us a thank you because I'm winning my 5% play tonight.
Let me know which restaurant it is. Maybe I'll send over a nice bottle of vino if you guys go 2-0.
Okay, well, I'll tell you now. So all the listeners can hear. They can send too. It's called Lord Nelson. It's in Burlington, Ontario. Kelly, let's get into the marquee matchup tonight in the NBA, the Lakers and the Jazz. I went to bed. The Jazz were -8.5, -8.5. They're now -9. And the under's been bet down as well, 3 points. I love this game because I love, are these statement games for the world champs? Are these the games where they're like, yeah, we see you knocking. We see you knocking, Dallas, Utah. But we're not going to let you in. Where are we going in this one?
Prez, one of the things I wanted you to lead me into is why I'm not betting college basketball anymore. And it's because I'm doing so much with the NBA for Bleacher Report. So I've really been dialed in on the NBA this last 3 weeks has been really the best stretch of NBA betting I've ever had. And it's been great. So when you feel dialed in on a team and a set of teams, you feel awesome. And that has been betting against the Lakers. This Lakers team is hurt without Anthony Davis. It's LeBron James. We saw in the last game versus the Wizards, I told everybody, I said, hey guys, just sprinkle a little bit on the money line. I think the Wizards have a shot. They were down late. And guess what? The Lakers got tired because LeBron cannot do it all. This is a spot where I feel like the Jazz have been overvalued for weeks. The last game, Jazz tied 91-90. And I'm sitting here doing some in-game stuff. And I'm like, do I put a little bit on the Jazz money line? And I turn around and I update another computer screen in the middle of my live broadcast, and they were up 20 in a matter of minutes. So this terrifies me about this Jazz team. This Jazz team can turn it on when ready. So initially in this game, I'm looking towards the under here. I'm saying, okay, let's see how we feel. But I do think the Lakers are going to give their best effort, particularly in the first half. So I don't want to bet against the Jazz. I don't want to bet on the Lakers, but I think the Lakers plus 4.5 in the first half is really juicy. I do think we may even see a 5 if there's not already one out there. I don't have my WagerTalk odds screen pulled up. Teddy's looking for me right now, but I do think the Lakers will give, as you mentioned, former world champs, knockout, drag out effort right in the first 2 quarters. So that's where I'm going in this one. I cannot step in front of this Jazz freight train. I just can't. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not a team that I want to get in front of right now. And this Lakers team's not a team I want to back. But I think overall, they'll be able to get it done here in the first 2 quarters.
There are a handful of plus 5s out there. In global books, I haven't seen any here in Las Vegas, but the global market has moved towards 5 in the first half. And yeah, I was on Charlotte the other night where they, were right in the game for 3 quarters, and it was a 26-2 Jazz run. But Utah does that. I mean, that's the scary thing about stepping in front of the Jazz. You talked about the under in this game, and certainly Lakers and Jazz rank number 1 and number 2 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. And yet both teams in any given day, in any given game, are capable of lighting it up from downtown. The Jazz, in that blowout over Charlotte, ended up setting a franchise record for 3-point makes in that contest. When it comes to this total, do you think is pace the issue we're worried about, or is 3-point makes the issue that we're worried about? Because that's the difference here between looking at the under and looking at the over.
So we know that the Lakers went on that pretty good stretch there where they were hitting a ton of unders, Teddy. And that's why I was looking at it thinking, hey, maybe they'll get back to those under ways. The under was definitely in play late into the third quarter against the Wizards on Monday night. And guess what? Then they went on a hot streak and didn't matter. Even before overtime, the game went over the total. Yep. So that's kind of one of those things that's starting to scare me is how tired is this Lakers team? LeBron, I'm telling you, this man, we know he can sleep in a hyperbaric chamber. He can have, professional trainers, chefs, whatever it is. He is getting winded earlier. Watching these games, he cannot do it all. He's playing over 35 minutes, and I'm going, what are they doing? I think that there was a period in the third quarter where he was checking. He basically told Frank Vogel, look, man, I'm checking myself in because he saw the momentum shift. I think the Wizards were down 14. It felt like they were down 24. But sure enough, here he is. He's like, I'm getting back in because he saw that momentum shift. He cannot do it alone. We've seen Montrezl Harrell step up. We've seen Kyle Kuzma hit some nice threes. But he is missing Anthony Davis so bad that I just don't know if I can back this team defensively to bet the under here. I don't know if they can keep it up for 4 quarters. I would definitely look towards the first half under as well. And I may end up on that side. I did end up on that side in the Wizards game. We'll see how high it ticks up. As of right now, we know that the totals market in the NBA is sharp, Teddy. If you watch the market and you see it move 4 points and you like the over, you don't feel good about it. Because let me tell you, those guys have done a great job this year. And that's just kind of where I'm at in regards to the total. I'm kind of sitting tight. I know that we always preach, get the best of the number. And we always preach that it's important not to wait to bet the closing number. But I've really noticed in the NBA that the closing numbers are really, really sharp. So you want to kind of find that middle ground where I don't want to bet too early. I don't want to bet last night, but I also don't want to bet right before tip. Kind of watch the market, especially in regards to those totals, because those guys have been on absolute fire.
Kelly Stewart, everybody. Such a pleasure to have you with us, Kel. Toronto Raptors won 3 of their last 4 games. Just 4 of their last 5 came off of a loss with Philadelphia. Playing to the under right now, Kelly. Much better defense. And Miami put together a nice 3-game win streak. They're playing tonight, -2 for the home team, the Heat. What are you doing here?
Yeah, this is interesting, Prez, because you mentioned the total, and to see a total in the low teens is interesting, right? 213.5 is relatively low for today's NBA. So it kind of intrigued me. I lean towards the under. I'm not going to get involved here. This Miami Heat team, I was so high on after the bubble last year, watching them play. I'm like, they're going to come back. They're going to fight with a vengeance. And then they did nothing but disappoint me for basically the last 6 weeks. I'm going, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
This team, well, now they've kind of ridden that wave and they're starting to make some leaps and bounds. But did they take advantage of some bad teams, a Lakers team without AD? I like your Raptors. I don't know if you're actually a Raptors fan or not, just because you're from Toronto. I like this Raptors team. Teddy can attest to me, but I think that small sample sizes in the NBA are really interesting. We always talk about, and you'll see my tweets, oh, that's a small sample size. That's a 5-game sample size, where I feel like the NBA, it can become more relevant because it's almost like, what have you done for me lately? What is a small sample size with the Lakers? Well, it basically since Anthony Davis got hurt. What's a small sample size with the Heat? I don't think that they've played anybody prolific. Here's this Raptors team. They got 2 wins against the Bucks. You mentioned they just are off a loss to Philly. I think this Raptors team is playing well. They've adjusted to their new arena in Tampa. And I think that this, to me, is not necessarily an away game, right? They're traveling super short distance to play in Miami against a Heat team that I think has been rather advantageous over the last few games. I like the Raptors +2 here. I think that they get a nice win in Miami and keep that win streak, well, at least that trend, keep trending, up in the right direction.
So last night was the All-Star snub night in the NBA. Both these teams had legit All-Star snubs. Bam Adebayo didn't make it for Miami. And for Toronto, I think Van Vliet deserved to be there. Van Vliet had to be there, and he didn't get the snub. And yet last night, Toronto got their snub game out of the way and lost to Philly, whereas Miami has their snub game tonight with Adebayo at home against a team on the second of back-to-back, and the money's flowing the other direction. The Heat were -3, and now they're -2. Does any of that worry you about this game, or is this just one of these stories where, look, Miami's coming back off this long road trip. They keep costing bettors money, even though they've covered 3 in a row. In general, they've been a bad team. They have very little home court edge, et cetera, et cetera. Does that one more take on this one? And Kel, I'm not trying to correct anyone. What I try to do in my role is to ask a tough question. It make someone like defend their position and say, all right, let's see what the response is when you ask a tough question. So I do a little cross-examination over here, no question, but I try not to be a giant jerk about it. I'm just a nit to begin with.
I like to tease you about it, Teddy. I think you're the ultimate devil's advocate. We could argue about anything because that's who you are. As could I, right? So I think it's super fun.
Sure.
No, look, this is something we can talk about, and I've spoken with Ralph Michaels, who's basically, we call him Stat Daddy on Bet On It, but our trends and angles guy, and I've asked him about the NBA because I really did have to take this crash course in the NBA. For years, I had to delete tweets that said, hey, I hate betting the NBA because I now have this big job with the NBA. It's true. And the reason why I didn't like betting the NBA is because I didn't understand it. And now that I'm seeing things clearly and understanding it from a deeper perspective, I think that there's some money to be made. And that is in short sample sizes, as I mentioned, and things of that nature. Now, to answer your question about this Heat team and getting it away and playing off a back-to-back, my problem is in regards to the NBA is there's so many narratives. We know we can quantify injuries. How do you quantify a narrative? How do you, just like we talk about in college football, right? Well, this team lost by this much last year. Well, how do we quantify revenge? You kind of have to weave those narratives into it, but you can't say, well, this is worth 1.5 points. And that's where I'm at here. I do think that the line looks really fishy. And when lines look really fishy to me in regards to one side or the other, I say, hey, you know what? Maybe look at this a little bit harder or stay away. And this is when I was happy to see some Toronto money come in. Somebody agrees with me here. A little reverse line movement. We'll keep an eye on it through tip, but I think the Raptors win this game. I took +2, and I'll probably just take a little bit on the money line as well before tip.
Outstanding stuff, Kelly Stewart. So you're basically not betting college basketball because you're focused on the NBA, not because it's a tough time. There's no relevance to actual college basketball.
Well, it's partially relevant to college basketball. I think that one thing that we've learned, and I've spoken to Teddy about this, I've spoken to Marco about this, when you have to spend so much time on a particular sport. So it's August, right? I'm not looking at baseball. This last August, I had to do the NBA with the bubble. I focused a lot on NFL because there were so many unknowns with college football, right? We knew we were going to get an NFL season. Here I am. This is what I can focus on. And I noticed that my college football really took a hit, not only because of scheduling, because of testing, because of guys being opted out, whatever it was, my college football took a hit. And the same thing happened with college basketball. We hear about guys playing video games. Somebody's girlfriend comes over. She tests positive. Now contract tracing, all 3 guys are out. Like, what? That is not the kind of thing I want to back my money with, finding out 10 minutes before tip. So to me, it was less advantageous for me to focus on college basketball. Once we knew NBA was going to have a quick turnaround, I looked at some college basketball, and I'll pick and choose here and there, but I just really don't have the time to focus on it the way I need to. I was looking at the Big 10 and the Big 12, and I had Michigan State last night, but I didn't give it out because it wasn't something that I felt like I had put a lot of time into. It was like more of a 10 minutes. Let me look at this game. Yeah, I'll take Sparty, something to watch while I'm working out at the gym at 4 o'clock, one of those kind of deals, right? And I think that we have like a certain responsibility in the media space because people do tail our picks. People do like to hear what we have to say, follow or fade, whatever it may be. We have a due diligence to do, and I'm not able to do that. Not with the amount of work the NBA is taking right now of my time. And honestly, I'm doing well in the NBA. I'm not doing well in college basketball. So my focus is naturally going to shift as well.
Yeah. And
go ahead, Teddy.
Just real quick, Prez. Yeah, I was just going to say, and Kelly, I totally get it. And that's the truth of it, okay? As a capper, when you're putting your time into a sport and you're beating it, and then someone says, oh, yeah, what's your opinion on this other sport? It's like, no, I'm winning money doing this right now. It's okay. You know,
dude,
no?
You know what the worst is, flat out, and I'm sure both of you get this all the time. Prez, who's going to win the Stanley Cup? Prez, who's going to be the champs in the NFL? What the hell do I know? I handicap nightly.
My favorite one to the guys are like, so where's this player going to end up? You know?
Yeah.
Like
we have a crystal ball.
Like I have inside info on that. You know, it's like, no, I'm good at, give me two teams. I'll do my best to pick you a side or total. But when it comes to where a player is going to end up, I got no more insight than anyone else. Probably less because I don't read those articles.
Totally off topic. But I thought, Kelly, you would be interested in this. We don't need to discuss it, but there's been about 100 missed games so far in the NHL due to COVID. Some of these teams have played like 9 games and others have played 23. Every single missed COVID game has been a team based in your country. 0 missed COVID games in Canada. Just interesting tidbit. Kelly Stewart, everybody. Kel, keep coming on this show on Wednesdays. We love having you. I think you're the best brand in this industry as far as giving out information, being entertaining, and just knowing your stuff. We love you, man. It's awesome that you come on our show. What do you got to promote?
I love to support you guys. I'll be here every Wednesday, maybe with the exception of when I take a vacation in late April after March Madness. We'll see if I'm allowed to do that. Maybe not. But yeah, I plan on being here every Wednesday. We'll talk some probably NBA, especially during March Madness. I'm excited for the tournament. I know that hopefully due to their scheduling and deciding to make it a bubble, we don't see any canceled games and we get to see some really exciting college basketball because I feel like we haven't really got to enjoy that much college basketball this year. And yeah, baseball season. I'm trying to figure out how to take the summer off. I texted Johnny. I'm like, hey, Johnny, what do you need me for the summer? Like, I've been locked in my house since March. Like, I got to go out and do some things. Like, let me live a little. So we'll see how things play out. But I plan on being with you guys for the foreseeable future on Wednesdays.
Awesome stuff. Guys, quick break. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Art the Caesar, my penalty box segment, so much more. Stay with us.
First, we'd like to thank everyone who took part in our annual Customer Appreciation Week. We'd like to especially thank the hundreds of brand new customers who use WagerTalk.com for the very first time. Our regulars already know we offer $9 Mondays and have a featured handicapper for $2 Tuesdays. We're going one step further. For the final 2 Thursdays in February, every single daily package will be half priced on Thursday, February 18th and Thursday, February 25th using coupon code THANKS50. There is no limit to the number of usages or the number of cappers you can purchase, and the same code THANKS50 will work for both Thursdays. Just another way for us to thank you for your patronage.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. We're going to talk North Carolina and Marquette, ESPN2 tonight. And this is a fairly random game. It just got scheduled after both teams had opponents cancel on them. Line open, North Carolina -8, 144. The money's come for the home team. Tar Heels now -9.5, total 145.5. So the sharp money's come on North Carolina and the over in early betting action today. You can understand why the money's coming on North Carolina. It's a weird game for Marquette, who was supposed to go to Georgetown, and instead they end up taking a couple more days and going down to Chapel Hill. Marquette doesn't have Theo John available. Justin Lewis has played, 7 minutes in the last 6 games due to an ankle injury. Also, Iguodala played just 10 minutes in February and hasn't played since. And, of course, Tommy Gardner out for the year with a torn ACL. So 4 of their 12 scholarship players have something notably wrong with them, and 3 of them are unlikely to play at all in this contest. And without Lewis, I mean, this team has beaten Butler twice, and that's it. All right. Steve Wojciechowski's playing through his big men, and I would expect Marquette to be able to have at least some success doing that this game, except for that North Carolina big in the low post. Marquette's defense is not stopping this team, all right, unless the Tar Heels settle for jumpers. If Love is taking the ball to the hole, I cannot picture a scenario in which North Carolina doesn't get to 80+ in this ball game. And I think the total here may be better than the side. We've already seen, obviously, a big move towards North Carolina, a team I don't trust defensively. And Marquette, despite the fact they don't get a lot of assists, the offensive execution is more one-on-one than team play. That might work against North Carolina. So the lean here is towards the over. 2 teams that have no experience defending each other, haven't spent a whole lot of time working on styles to defend each other. And 2 teams might get a fair bit of dribble penetration and get some easy buckets in this one. North Carolina, Marquette over 145.5 is the lean in today's big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
There you go, Teddy. Teddy, really quick, nice haircut. You look great. And I wanted to point that out because Andrew McGinnis, guys, Andrew McGinnis yesterday said if the Montreal Canadiens lose, he would shave his head if he got 500 likes. Teddy, I did puck time this morning with Andrew, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's up now. He shaved his head. The dude shaved his head because Montreal Canadiens lose. So I ask you, Teddy, North Carolina over. Is it head shaving?
Have you ever seen me with my head shaved? I did it once. Just to see what it would look like. And I look pretty freaky, dude. It's not really my look. Now, my brother does it. My brother started to go bald and he shaved his head completely, but his face is rounder. My face is leaner. And I'm telling you, I look like a psycho with my head shaved. No, I just got a haircut yesterday. At least let me grow it out. Let me need a haircut before I have to do it. And not this play. This play is not a step up and they're not going to lose. Yeah, this is a lean. We're talking about TV games that are interesting and have some talking points.
I did get inspired by Andrew. So again, I just want to let everyone know I have a 5% play up in hockey tonight. You get it $15 off Prez, 5%. And the reason I mention that is if it loses, I will shave my face.
Oh, you can't do that. I was going to have to root for you to lose, dude. And I don't want to have to root against you. If
I'll shave my face.
I understand. I got it.
All he did was shave his head. Face shaving, way more important. Art DiCesare with us. And speaking about a shave, dude, based on the fact that you're Italian, I'm guessing over and under you shaved 4 hours ago.
No.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, Art. Nice to see you, buddy. How you been?
What's up, gentlemen? Good morning.
Teddy, get some actionable info out of this guy and do it fast.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, we're running a little bit behind, Arthur. And I need to apologize. I haven't even been in the LINQ to see you in forever. I got to get down there. Arthur DiCesare, of course, at ArtDice21 on Twitter. The Race of Sports Supervisor at the LINQ Sportsbook on the Las Vegas Strip. And he's a nice guy to go in and just say hi to if you're running around town. Obviously, with March Madness just around the corner, are you seeing any excitement? Are people starting to get geared up? Is March Madness going to be good this year, Art?
Speaking of that, Teddy, I had a visitor this weekend. I had Ralph Michaels and his son. So
cool.
I did have a wonderful visitor, and it was lovely to catch up with them and, get a couple minutes with them. But yeah, as far as March Madness goes, listen, March Madness is March Madness. I think that hopefully there's some restrictions to get lifted come March. Hopefully we get a little bit more occupancy in these hotels. And, hopefully we could see, a nice little influx for March Madness. Obviously, the schedule of March Madness is a little weird this year. Some of the games bleed into the week, like Monday or Tuesday. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think the first couple of days of March Madness, which are always the most important and busiest days, will still be pretty good.
So let's talk about Las Vegas for a minute, because I know there's we'll get to actual info in just a minute. But I do get a lot of questions about what's going on in Vegas. How does it feel in Vegas? Let's call a 10 New Year's Eve on the busiest night of the year. Let's call a 1 a Tuesday afternoon in mid-July when nobody's in this, when the casinos are a little bit quiet. How's business right now? How would you call it? Would you call it is it a 5? Is it a 7? Is it a 3? How busy is the Strip? How busy is the LINQ?
I'd say this, Teddy. I think we've talked about this all year. I think during the week, you could see a 2, a 3, a 4, depending on kind of what's going on, or what type of crowd you get. But weekends have usually been pretty good. Football weekends, to me, were they 10s all year? No, but they were 8s and 9s. I felt. I thought the Super Bowl, if it wasn't a 10, it was a 9. And this past weekend, the past couple weekends, President's Day weekend, and even this past weekend, 8s and 9s. So the weekends are always good. We always have busy weekends, but the weekdays are tough. I mean, there's sometimes on the weekday it could be an hour before you see a customer, or between customers. So it all depends. We know how this goes. It's day in and day out, but weekends have still been really good.
That's good. That's good to hear. That makes me feel better. Lawrence, you want to go right here?
Arthur DiCesare, NHL. Oh my God. I've had a rough go for the last 2 weeks. I mean, look, geez, it's going to be a 5-month season, give or take, this time around. And we're going to have these 2-week periods, but are you finding overall, over the last couple of weeks, because I know a bunch of us, I'm tapped in with a lot of really, really savvy hockey bettors. And a lot of us are struggling right now. Is that over the board? Are you guys seeing losing clients more in the NHL now than, say, at the beginning of the season? Or am I the only idiot?
No, Prez, I think you could say that. Like you said, a 5-6 month season ebbs and flows, as we all know. But I think when it comes to, 2 of the games that I actually wrote down for you guys to kind of throw at you was, I know we've talked about this on the show multiple times, these totals, these North totals.
Yep.
After I went on a rage of all these North totals are going over, they started going under. But today, perfect example. Most of them have been opening at 6.5. Flames, Leafs open at 6.5. It's now at 6. 6 is -120. I think you're going to start seeing that a lot, where the North will still open at 6.5, but maybe get pushed back to 6. So maybe if you like the team enough, you could find the value on the over 6, even though the Flames have been a really good under this year. And Stars at Florida, the Panthers, you've seen a 15-cent move. It was -120, now -135 to the Panthers.
So
and Art,
coming
go ahead,
for
Teddy.
Florida in that one. That's okay, Lawrence. Follow-up question.
Yeah, Art, I'll tell you, there is a reason behind the fact that there was a lot of overs at the beginning of the year, and now we've moved to unders. And that is, man, when you play a team 6 times in a row, 4 times in a row, 4 times in a 2-week period, these coaches are world-class, best coaches in hockey anywhere, and they're making adjustments, and the adjustments are always on the defensive side. I think we're going to see a lean towards the unders for another little while still. But as we move towards the end of the season, I think it'll actually open up again, and we'll start seeing a little bit more overs as we head towards the playoffs. Art, do you have any hockey picks for the clients tonight? And then Teddy will ask you some hoop stuff.
One of the games I just mentioned, I like the Panthers. I like the Panthers at home. I think the Panthers are a really good team. The Stars, they're okay. They've kind of been, hit and miss a little bit. I talked about the Panthers, I think, last week. They had one of the earlier games, another early game today, 2 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know. I just like the Panthers. I like their firepower. I know it was a 15-cent move, but I still like -135. That's probably as high as I would go. So I do like the Panthers at home.
Yeah, I'm nervous. Sorry, I'm nervous about the Panthers. Dallas 6 games in a row they've lost. I mean, their season's on the line, but It makes a lot of sense, Art. Teddy, I'll sit back.
Sure. So, of course, we're talking here with Arthur DiCesare, the race and sports supervisor over at the LINQ Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip. Just a few minutes left with Arthur here. Let's talk college hoops for tonight. In terms of actionable info, where have you seen the sharp money flowing in college basketball? Anything stand out to you?
Absolutely, Teddy. The two things I would touch on for college basketball actually both have to do with totals. First one, NC State at Virginia opened at 129. It's now 124.5. So you've seen a 4.5 point move there. Virginia obviously coming off the loss to Duke. I'm sure Tony Bennett has had the kids in the grinder. He's been working on them, saying, hey, we're giving up 50 points tonight. That's what it is. We know how good Virginia is defensively. So you've seen a nice move there. So people are betting the under. And then on the opposite side of that, SEC matchup, Alabama, Arkansas, total was 155, now 158. Both teams scoring the 80s. So people are expecting points in that game. People are betting the over.
So the low-scoring game is supposed to go under, and the high-scoring game is supposed to go over. 124.5 now in Virginia, and Alabama all the way up to 158. Real quick, Art, before we let you go, I know you're not an NBA guy, but has anything stood out with today's NBA card? Are they taking the Lakers plus all those points? That was one of those spreads that stood out to me like, really? Much higher than my number. And yet, I'm still not in any rush to stand in front of Utah.
Yeah, Teddy. I mean, listen, I'm not saying I'm not an NBA guy, but I pick my spots in the NBA. The NBA is just so volatile. It could be tough. But yeah, we had Utah. We opened them -8. It's obviously sitting -9 now. I did see 9.5 a little bit early in the morning, late last night. So it was 9.5 for a little bit, but I'm with you. And I know you guys touched on it with Kelly in the earlier segment. How do you get in front of this Utah train right now? If you're in front of this Utah train, you're losing. So to me, It's you either bet in Utah or you're not. The Lakers are obviously, they're hurt without Davis. LeBron's running on fumes. And this is one of these games where the Lakers, they just want to get right for the playoffs. They're not worried about let's make a statement in late February. So this to me is more maybe Utah, let's make a statement and take care of business because they don't have Davis. So I'm with you guys. I'm not stepping in front of Utah.
Art, we got to run, but I got one real quick follow-up question which is interesting for me. You got Utah at -9. Let's go the other way. You got the Lakers at +9 tonight, and you also have Detroit at +9.5. And the reason I bring that up is, are you getting more money line action on a Laker game in this type of situation than, say, a Detroit game? Because I would think that the general public here at that type of number would really back the Lakers on the money line.
Absolutely, Prez. We've talked about this forever. You're always going to get a lot of Laker action anyway. So people are going to bat the Lakers, whether they're the favorite, the underdog, and they're rarely an underdog. But yeah, people are going to, take a shot on the Lakers money line because it's the Lakers. That's always how it is. So yeah, you'll probably see some Laker money line tonight. No doubt about it.
Awesome stuff, Art. Guys, follow him at ArtDice21. Check him out at the LINQ. Bring him a platypus hat. He loves wearing them. Other than that, my friend, a privilege having you on. Guys, it's penalty box time, and I'm just looking forward to the music more than anything else, Teddy.
Sure.
Theme song. And speaking about Bugs and Mickey, and I was singing the Mighty Mouse song a few days ago. Mighty Mouse here today, save the day. I wonder if the generation today know those guys. So much has changed, but man. Anyway, I got 2 free picks for you guys tonight in the NHL. And the first one I'm going to give you, I'm actually going to be releasing to my clients. So this is a client play. And that is the Philadelphia Flyers. They are a short -120 against the New York Rangers. And look, the Rangers have won 2 in a row, including beating Philadelphia in a shootout 3-2 a couple of games ago. But tonight they're without Panarin, and he's their scorer. Philly has lost 2 in a row and 4 of their last 5. And They really need to turn this around. This is a team that I really thought was going to be a Stanley Cup contender. I still think they're a very good team, and I think they're way better than the Rangers. I can't believe the price is so low. You know, I was talking about this on Puck Time. If Philly beat the Rangers last game, and they only lost in a shootout, I think this line would be as much as 170. So I think this line is about 50 cents off, that big from a value perspective. I'm releasing Philly to my clients. I'm giving it out here free. So guys, grab that play. Please bet it with confidence. The next one is the St. Louis Blues. Now, this team has been the bane of my existence. I have not got the St. Louis Blues right yet. And I was on them a couple of nights ago. They lost 3-0 to the LA Kings. And I said to myself, you know, I'm not going to bet them. I'm not going to bet the St. Louis Blues the next game, and they're going to win it. So I won't bet it. So I hand them to you guys as a gift. I will not bet this team specifically to allow all of you guys to win the St. Louis Blues, because every time I bet them, they lose, and every time I don't, they win. St. Louis, big favorite. Take them. Also take a small amount in regulation, and Philadelphia against the Rangers. That's it for the penalty box. Teddy, as I said, I got a 5% play up tonight in hockey. Promo code Prez 5%. Tomorrow's show, Dave Koken and a mystery guest that I will organize a little later. Most likely Ralph Michaels, though, Teddy, because we got to have Ralph on at least once a week.
I like the concept of a mystery guest. That's always fun. But we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with Prez and I here on WagerTalk Today. Please give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. Ding that button up in the right-hand corner. We genuinely appreciate it, and we need it to keep this show to continue providing the best free content you can find when it comes to sports betting information. I want to thank Arthur DiCesare from the LINQ Race and Sportsbook here in Las Vegas. I want to thank Kelly Stewart for joining us, and of course, you guys as well. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck. Prez, do you want to say goodbye, or should I do it myself?
I want to hear you sing the Mighty Mouse song.
I don't know the Mighty Mouse song. Meanwhile, enjoy the games and good luck. We'll be back again 23 hours and 10 minutes right here on WagerTalk Today.
Each and every Thursday, sportsmemo.com goes back in time, and you can daily pick packages priced at only $5. And yes, for those wondering, that includes 5% best bets, normally priced at $30. This is the real Throwback Thursday. As an added bonus, all first-time customers will be credited $25 in WagerBucks after their initial $5 purchase. So each and every Thursday, make sure to go to sportsmemo.com and get best bets from the hottest cappers for only $5.